got majorities in the House and Senate on the federal level, but then we lost our way. And that's almost become a cliche right now that Republicans didn't follow through on the promise of 94, but we need to remember that right now. Because if we do the same thing in 2010, if we put up people with just a status quo mentality that are going to go up to state government and just keep things going the way they are, then we're going to be punished, and we're going to deserve to be punished in 2012 and 2014. We have to actually go up there and have real conservative reforms.
Well, congressional popularity, I think, is down to 17% or something like that. And it's funny because people say, well, get rid of all the congressmen, but don't get rid of mine because I like him because he came to my son's basketball game last year and shook my hand. But I think, and you kind of alluded to this, that there may be a throw the rascals out mentality. You know, let's start over and go back to the constitutional aspect, the citizen legislator type of view that was probably the original intent.
That's perfectly right. And when we're saying that, that doesn't mean that term limits are designed just to make someone move from one office to another. And so I don't want to spend 8 years as labor commissioner only to spend the last 2 years running for insurance commissioner or state auditor or something like that. You know, the key is you do a job and then you leave. And, you know, if you want to come back later, and I've seen a few people do that, that's fine, but you at least need to rejoin the real world at some point, and I think that's very key. The term limits are not just musical chairs. It's not, okay, step up and get into another seat now.
Well, Tom Coburn served in the U.S. House back when the Congress was actually considering term limits.
That's right.
They're not under consideration anymore. But he said, I'm going to run 3 terms for 3 terms and then retire, which he did. And then when he was coaxed back into running for Senate, he said, I'm going to run for 2 terms. And he announced he is running for re-election this year. But you can bet in 6 years, if he wins, he will not run again.
And I'm very happy about that. When he ran in 2004, I said, look, we've got somebody with experience, yes, but we also have someone that had the integrity to actually get out and leave. He went back to Muskogee for a few years.
He delivers babies.
That's right, and that's good. That's the kind of perspective we need. And so we need people that, yes, do have experience in government in some level or another, but who also have been in the private sector, not just 20, 30 years ago, but in the recent past to where they know what's going on.
Well, tell people a little bit about yourself. Are you married, or where do you go to church and that kind of stuff?
I'm married to a wonderful woman, Jessica, my wife of 6 years, and we have 2 little boys, 4 years and 2 years, and so they keep us running quite a bit.
Are you in Kingfisher now?
No, we're in Oklahoma City right now.
Oklahoma City.
I moved there when I started working for the legislature. We had been living in Norman for a while before that, and we live in a very old part of town. We've got an 80-year-old house that kind of reminds me of the house in It's a Wonderful Life. I always wonder if the banister is about to come off in my hand as I'm walking upstairs, but I get to make a lot of trips down to Home Depot and Lowe's to start fixing things up. But our 2 boys keep us running, and we go to church at Christ the King Church in Oklahoma City. I understand there's one with the exact same name in Tulsa as well.
Okay.
So we've been going there for quite a while, very active in our church, and enjoy our time there.
Have you had any endorsements from people we might know about? Or
no, the groups haven't really started endorsing my race yet. That's one of the joys of running for something like labor commissioners. It's so far down on the totem pole that you really don't get as much scrutiny and endorsements and things like that on the early end, but we're very proud of the grassroots network that we've set up.
Well, a lot of people, unfortunately, would say, labor commissioner, I have no idea what that guy does. I don't know how that. I've never run into those people, and I'm having hard enough time just keeping up with the gubernatorial race, and so these other races, who cares?
Well, what I would tell you about that is, even in a great paper like the Tulsa Beacon, you're not going to see a front page story about a new regulation that gets passed. That's not something that's going to happen. So you need to send somebody to office that's actually going to keep a close eye on that, because let me tell you, businesses do keep an eye on new regulations. There's something that comes out every year called the Small Business Survival Index, and that's something something that I've paid attention to every year while I was in the state legislature as a staff attorney, and then since then. And I keep an eye on where we are on a competitiveness scale for small business. We're constantly right smack in the middle. And the reasons we have great property taxes here compared to other states.
Right.
We have great energy prices compared to other states, a decent crime rate. But our workers' comp system is ranked near the bottom.
Right.
Our regulations are very heavy, and our bureaucrat tax, I call it, the amount of public workers we have compared to private workers, even on a per capita basis, is huge. And this ranking consistently, like I said, ranks us in the middle because of those factors. So we have to have someone that's actually going to address these things.
We just have a couple of minutes left, but if I owned a manufacturing company in California, I would want to get out of there and come to Oklahoma because we have a great VOTEC system. The traffic problems aren't nearly what they are there. Crime's not as bad. There are a lot of reasons to sell Oklahoma, but these impediments seem to be standing in the way.
That's exactly right. And we're not really competing with California and New York on a day-to-day basis. We're competing with Texas, Colorado, Kansas. So we need to make ourselves shine compared to those states. We need to show that we're serious about a pro-business climate, that we're serious about skilled workers in things like our VOTEC system, and that we are going to move to an economy that welcomes new.
We've been talking with Jason Reese, the Republican candidate for Labor Commissioner. How can people contact your campaign? www.reeseforlabor.com, or you can go ahead and email me directly at reese@reeseforlabor.com. And that Reese is
R-E-E-S-E.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate it, and best wishes in your campaign.
Thank you very much, Charlie.
And we'll see you next time on Tulsa Beacon Weekend.